as a leader and as a CEO of my company, that no is not a bad thing. Is if you understood or you took a mile in my shoes, you'd understand why I said no. So sometimes it's those things where some businesses you don't want to be affiliated with. I need to know my values. And that's the biggest thing that I'm taking with Mind Your Power is I need to know my values. Not every dog that barks deserves my attention.
Dumelang, I'm Pumi and welcome to the KJ Real Talk show. Today I'm joined by a phenomenal woman, a woman who wears many hats, who has such wonderful energy, so light, so bright, so beautiful. CZAR.
Woo. How do I top that? I mean, that lovely introduction, it's very heartwarming every time when a person says a phenomenal woman, wears many hats, and then sometimes I have to pinch myself that, ooh, that's me. But yes, thank you for having me, Pumi. I'm looking forward to today.
Thank you. And before we get in, how are you today?
Today I'm great. Actually, this has been a very great year thus far. And you know, as the Bible say, we don't serve God because of the things that He gives us, but because of who He is. And even through spaces that are not conducive or scary, we still say, praise God, and we get an opportunity to wake up and do what we love best. Amen. So this has been a very amazing week for me. So yeah, man, I'm good.
Amen. And a compliments, as they say,
yes, compliments for 2026 or 2026.
Oh,
yes, okay. People are fixing.
That's true, we have to, because a lot has been going on.
A lot has been going on, definitely.
As we get in, before we dive deep, but not too deep, could you just tell us about young you? How did you grow up, the environment that you grew up in?
Whew. Hey, this year I'm turning 40, né? So young me feels like it's very far. It's like a long decades away. But I'll take us 3 decades before. I grew up in a single mom headed home. Happened to live with my mother in the Vaal, Palm Springs. And yes, and I am CZAR, born from 2 struggle activists, if I must put it like that. My parents are fighters through and through. They are people that they will not see injustice and just let it slide. For them, the return to humanity has been at the root of everything that they do, and I grew up in that type of home. It wasn't a home that it was just me. I was the only child. My sister was living in Soweto, but there were always people in my house.
Oh, that's
my mom would pick up someone who's going through a lot, a child who's been abused. There was always people in my house. And funny thing is that even in my own home now, there is always people. But you start to realize as you get older that your purpose is actually crafted way before you. You know, some other things we say they're in your genes, it's in your lineage to be people-centric, and I've gone to accept that. So fast forward to that, we then moved back to my grandma's house in Soweto, because my grandfather was sick. I think it was around year 2000. Then navigating Soweto, especially not as a Sowetan, right? Navigating Soweto up until matric. I left after matric, went to KZN for a year to stay with my sister because no one could hire me then. They said I'm too young. I must come back when I'm 18. Believe it or not, at the age of 18 and 1 day, I started my first job. Because I went back and I said, you guys said when I was 18.
And now I'm here.
I was 18 yesterday, today I'm 18 one day. And they actually hired me, and I happened to get a good opportunity with the bank. I worked for Standard Bank. From that time, I left, went to FNB the following year, then went back again, I think in 2006. So yeah, I grew up. I'm not the middle child, I'm not the first child, I'm actually the last child.
Yeah.
I am the last, with my dad, I'm the 7th one. And I've got twin brothers just after me. I think the age gap between us is 18. So if you do the math, you'll actually realize how young my brother's after me. And the age gap between my sister is about 15 years. So with my mom, there were 3 of us. With my dad, there's about 9 of us. Yes. So yeah, loved through and through. I adored my dad and so forth until we lost him in 2009. Yeah, but yes, I'm left with my mom and a whole lot of siblings, which I'm loving. So the young me, the young me got to navigate a whole lot of things, a whole lot of hoops, but the young me kind of survived. But what is more important in my life is seeing other people succeed, seeing other people happy, because I strongly believe that it inomthelela with a whole lot of things that we go through. So it's not just you smiling out. I want you to smile from the core, from inside. So you'll get to know why I do what I do, just to make sure that everybody is in the same space and everybody's actually living their lives 100%. Because we were not sent here to live 70% of it, 100%.
Oh, that is so beautiful. What a journey. You had a whole squad at home
all the time.
So many personalities, learning from different people of different ages, different backgrounds. That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And would you say growing up, because you had so many people around you, did you show any leadership traits?
My mom automatically pushed me to that space, right? I mean, it starts as Ara until they don't leave, but yeah. It starts as Ara and you have to be hospitable. Yes. So in most instances, some of them would come in the night, right? Because of a fight that's happening between their parents and they have to be moved to a place of safety. And we happen to be the place of safety, a normal house, right in the middle of the streets. So they will get there at night. I would always wake up. I'd always wake up to comfort them. Comfort, don't panic, it's okay, we're gonna have it. We're gonna be okay. So leadership started from there. And then from that point, started doing tuition. So now it means they stay here, they can't slack on their results. Now I needed to teach them. So I used to teach them maths, English, and physics. So we would do that, we'd sit and do homeworks and so forth. So you're realizing already from there that there was a greater responsibility that was unspoken to me as a younger person, but it kind of like went through and it became natural. Yeah.
So education was really important to you.
Of course.
No child left behind. Samba sonke.
I mean, there is no way. I value education through and through. And I'm not going to sit on the notion that education changes or is the route to wealth whatsoever. But I value education because it kind of, there's certain traits that you take from it. The traits of discipline, the traits of self-actualization, the traits that a lot of us don't really speak about, but you get to know time management just from, furthering your studies. And I've been fortunate, and not necessarily, I wasn't fortunate enough financially for my parents to go straight into varsity after high school. My dad came up with all sorts of excuses, if you ask me. But I think now that I'm older, I can tell you it was because they did not put money. And then I had to obviously put myself to university with UNISA. Just recently submitted my final dissertation for a master's in industrial and organizational psychology. Hoping to do my PhD in the next 2 months. I was speaking to my professor yesterday, and we're already making plans for the PhD. But education for me is the core of who I am. I often say people can take everything away from you, but they can't take God and they can't take your education.
That's true.
So that's a loss that you're not going to study and somebody says, oh, they lost their studies. No, it's the information that is in here that you grow with, and I appreciate that opportunity.
That is very true, and that is beautiful. And they can never take away.
They can never.
The word in education,
no.
Never. That's beautiful. So what were some defining moments growing up that have shaped you into the woman that you are today?
Well, it's seeing resilience from both my parents. My dad was in Soweto, he lives in Mzimhlophe. And there were riots and there were fights between Mzimhlophe and what's this, a hostel yasemzimhlophe. My dad was very, very resilient. There were death threats, there were fights, people were just promising to end his life. But I realized that when you put your mind to something, and if it is your purpose and your passion, you don't back down with the first bark or with the first threat. And so it was also the case with my mom. My mom, where we stayed, obviously, you know, when you are the one that is speaking against GBV,
Yes.
at some point you get hated by the people that are exercising, or people, the perpetrators. So my mom would get threats because she would generally go to people's homes, try and save. Tomorrow, you know, shots will be fired to say we are coming for you. And other defining moments for me were just being able to learn people. I think that's a very beautiful trait. I've understood that in life you're not always going to get the person that is like you.
Yes.
And I've taken it upon myself to understand different people, and that's what I love. So yeah.
Oh wow, okay. And then let's get into the education part, because education was aparo. For those of us who don't really know what industrial psychology is, in simple terms, how would you explain it?
Okay, so industrial psychology, and often I'm saying this straight, right? Often I cringe when people kind of think industrial psychology speaks to HR. It doesn't. HR does the admin, does the payroll, it's different facets, that side. Industrial psychology purely speaks to the things that a human being goes through from an industrial relations perspective. So the beauty of it is that we're not only looking at the hiring, it's who we hire, how the hiring process was, what are they bringing, their retention, when it's time to fire, how did you fire them? What were the things that led to that decision? Yes. So industrial psychology speaks to the whole existence and the whole wellness of an individual in the workplace. So whole wellness is the first thing. If somebody comes and says, CZAR, there's issues at work, be it issues of, I'm struggling with concentration, right? And it's something as simple as that.
Yes.
From a work perspective, they would easily say to you, take turbovites, take this, take boosters. From an industrial psychology, you have to take a step back, understand what happened.
Yes.
When did you notice this happening? What were the trigger points? What could have gotten you here? Is it the work stress? Is it some stuff that people don't want to speak about? Is it understimulation? You're not concentrating because you're understimulated, because it's not the job that you like. Then industrial psychology unpacks that. If somebody comes and says, I'm suffering from back pain, we don't just go and say to you, go see a physiotherapist. And we understand, how do you sit, how's your posture, how's your laptop, how's the chair that you're using, is it ergonomically friendly? Your boosters that you use for your laptop, are they high enough to allow you? So if you have stuff like carpal tunnel syndromes, like you see people have twitchy, how do you sit? How do you press? So an industrial psychologist really looks at the whole existent, holistic parts of your work life, while also being mindful that certain changes can trigger performance and certain changes can actually affect it.
Wow.
It wasn't simple terms, but just break it up.
Because I only knew it as the HR part, but not that deep.
I will turn pink a person saying HR, because I strongly believe there's more that we offer you have to know how to listen, we have to be assertive, and you have to be very mindful. It takes a whole lot of mindfulness. And that's why I did this particular degree as opposed to any generic degree, because I understood that a human being's existence and their well-being has to be something that's at my core. So that's why this one was it.
Oh wow. So from a young age, you were like, I want to be in that space, or was there something else?
I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a medical doctor. The only challenge about wanting to be a medical doctor was the blood, the opening, the cutting, the stitching, and then I started going,
it's a bit much. Gruesome.
Yeah. Then I wanted to be a clinical psychologist, because also it talks to helping people. But because of the age, I was quite very skeptical, to put it that way, because Who would want to be consulting with a 20-something-year-old clinical psychologist who says, don't leave your husband, and then they're like, have you been married? So for me then, that was the issue, hence I chose industrial psychology, because there I realized that I could still achieve the same. I'm still going to do clinical psychologist at some point, but for now, this is where we are.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Okay, and then with studying of human behavior, right? Sorry, how does studying human behavior shape the way you understand leadership?
Ooh, it's still shaping, right? Human behavior is quite big, and it evolves with time. It evolves with resources, and it evolves with everything else that we go through, right? Because honestly speaking, you realize that humans change, and humans are allowed to change.
Yes.
And I put that because I am also an advocate of changing your mind. I'm an advocate of saying to the person, yes, you are a dog, but a dog can change, not in literal form, right? Yes, you didn't treat people well, but surely you can change, because when people get to self-realization and self-awareness, they start twigging how they are, they behave and how they treat other people. So very important and very critical to understand that we're not always going to behave the same way. And it shouldn't even be something that we expect of the next person. Simple terms, it's when you're a giver, you're not going to get friends or 100% of your friends being givers. And also, God also makes opportunities that there are people that you give. Not necessarily that we are a squad of givers, then who's going to be the taker? Because sometimes you have to have that mix. So when you understand human behavior, you also understand what they get triggered by, what changes they go through. And then at times when you want to act, you now know how to restrict yourself. I'm not a compulsive person. When we get to places that require me to be loud or shout or what, I take a step back and I understand that this situation can be aggravated by me just saying certain words. And people often think you are admitting defeat. Oh, uwile. It's okay, uwile, but this could have escalated worse. Because sometimes backing down, it's not necessary that you're scared of the next person. You're scared of the person that might come out inside of you if this goes on any further. And you're mindful. You know how to, it's self-regulation. It's emotional intelligence. You just understand that, okay, umarasa, okay, let's give you a break. Let's allow you to be, even at work. If the boss is a narcissist, okay, this is how you want to shout and want to speak in meetings. This is not how I want to receive the message. I'm not the first person that's going to, I don't like what you said in public. No, I'm going to step away. And when you have collected yourself, I'll come and approach and say, next time, you do not talk to me like that. I won't necessarily, I don't beat around the bush. And I don't blanket approach. And I've seen it through my corporate experience that when you make an example or you confront a situation and you say, we didn't like, who is we? I don't operate in we's. If I confront you, I'm saying, I did not like what you did. I'm taking accountability of the words that I'm using, I'm taking accountability of the actions that follow. Because normally we get defeated when a person now comes back and says, who is we? Then you go to we and abangani bahambi. The people that hyped you to go and confront the situations are not coming for you at that moment. So
I think we like to hide behind other people and not take accountability.
100%.
And it's something that is so hard for us to unlearn, but we'll get there eventually.
it's critical.
It is.
It is very critical.
Because it also, I guess, hinders growth as a person. That's true. So how did it, so you, with the studying of behavior, how did it shape your emotional intelligence?
Listen, I don't know what I would have studied if it was going to turn out differently. I'll probably be here, chacharach all over, noisemaker, speaking without substance. The study of that, of human behavior, has taught me when to do what, who to speak to. And I'm not in any way making it look like I treat people different. I treat you at the level that you are in. I'm sorry to say it, but it is exactly that. I don't also use it to come and box people, because there's also another challenge, is that if I know too much from a psychological, you'd hear people saying, ADHD, then they'll be saying, hey, valid diagnosis. So I don't do that. I literally give you rope and you hang yourself around me. And I just stand by. I just literally stand by.
You just watch everything unfold.
I just watch everything unfold.
No. Okay, so since conflict resolution in the workplace, at home, and that you're an expert in anti-toxicity, I got that right, where you help organizations address the toxic ways in behavior and emotional well-being. What drove you to start Mind Your Power?
So even before Mind Your Power was launched, right, it's something that I used to do at work. It's something that toxicity stinks. Toxic behaviors, they are disgusting. People choose their victims very well, unfortunately, and it's something that we're not aware of. And when you decide to leave the organization, you think the abuse stops when you leave, but it's not that. It doesn't stop. So just to break it down, the reason why I do what I do is it's more of an educational space. Because when you know it, you are able to name it. When you name it, you are able to speak openly about it, right? The word toxicity has been used loosely and so unnecessary. You hear people having an argument and they say, ooh, toxic. I started not understanding, say, ooh, toxic, yeah, make me understand, toxic with what? And a person all of a sudden does not say anything post that. It's like, no, you're just toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I always name it? I say, you know when you want to do drops mic at a person, you say, oh, toxic, and you walk away, you know? And that's the silly part, is that it doesn't give you the opportunity to let the next person to unlearn what you're complaining about. So when somebody dumps their ex and say, oh, nale toxic, in particular, so that one day when they want to be better citizens and they ask you, you are able to say, you were toxic in a sense that I couldn't breathe. And when I raise issues, you gaslit me. What is gaslighting is when you do stuff to me, but at the end of the day, the argument is about me. It's when you cheat, but then at the end of the day, it's my fault that you cheated. I felt gaslighted. And then the next time you say, no, this was intimidation, or toxic because you intimidate me. When I raise my concerns, you stand on my shoulder and you are ready to attack. So that's why I don't speak. In the workplace, also those things happen. And I've seen it and experienced them in the workplace. Hence, I took it from an industrial space and said, let's see how we delve into it. Starts with conflict resolution, right? Starts with conflict in the workplace. People often don't want to be in disputes or in conflict. They just want, it's not always going to be hunky-dory nice. But should we have difference? And also, I don't want to work with people that say yes to everything that I do, because then there's no room for growth. I don't want to be associated with people that say yes to everything, every thought or every idea, because then it means you're at the peak. There's a saying that says, if you are the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you are the prettiest in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you are the loudest in the room, you are in the wrong room. You have to have someone that has the traits that are higher than yours, so that you are able to learn something. When you keep your friends and they're beneath you, run. Or go and add a friend into your group that's going to shake you, because sometimes minimum. There's greater stuff and greater people that we still yet to meet. So if at any point you feel like you cannot be around people that have conflict, it's a problem, because it means you have told yourself that you know who you are and you know what you're doing. And at work, leadership, it's part of the things that people suffer from. People don't want to have the critical conversations. So one of the things that keeps on growing now is because post-2020, post-COVID, Now people are very self-aware. Before COVID, we didn't mind sitting there from 8 till 5 and still continues to be sheep. But now, post-COVID, we realize that you can work absolutely everywhere, that you can actually give your skills to people, that there's so much more. I mean, look at TikTok, it grew and it blew, right? So it's one of those things that I often say, before you can say someone is toxic or something is toxic, you must understand what poison did they add to your life and how does it make you navigate this life thing.
Okay. Wow, that was actually educational. Yeah. And so in your field of study, did you face any challenges?
Of course.
And how did you overcome them?
With studying, challenges will always be there. Like if I tell you just this master's challenges, you would be shocked. But with that, I can easily say I didn't go about it. It was just the spirit of the end goal in mind. The resilience that I'm going to complete it. The scripture in Philippians says, "He who started a good thing in you shall see it to fruition." I live by it, I go by it. Purely because I always laugh about it and say to people, I'm not a starter pack. The antibiotics, you know when they write there and they say finish course? Yes. I finish everything I start. I finish everything I start, even if it pains me. I finish everything I start. So academic struggles are normal. It's your fees, because I didn't get any tuition support. It's your fees, it's your books. But my partner has been amazing. I mean, from day one, whenever there were books that we needed to buy, he didn't mind to pay. As a result, I used to laugh at my uncles when lobola negotiations came closer. I remember saying to my uncles, "Don't you dare live outside this guy, degree. Because this man is part of the reason there's this degree." Yes. But now I did ask my husband for an increase from the money he paid, because I think I'm doing more, man. Yeah. I think I've escalated, and Kimuri Sunday, he definitely needs to up the game.
Transition from from your professional life to being a CEO. Yes. Can you walk us through that journey?
I mean, leaders are born as well, right? And then with the right skills and the right tools, we get better at it. I've always known that I'm a leader. It just didn't manifest all the time that I thought, because I was an employee, right? But even as an employee of the bank, I was quite assertive. I stand my ground, by the way. And if there's an opportunity, I'm those people. There's a program that I was actually doing, and they started saying, as adult as I am, 2025, I'm not talking long time, but I could teach us pet. And I laughed and I said, just because I take initiative doesn't mean I'm a teacher's pet. I look at the time, I'm the timekeeper. I look at the teacher and I say, when you guys start making noise, and it's not that I've got it all put together, I just love taking responsibility and initiatives. So from an employee to a CEO still gets scary. It is still a bit scary. I mean, Mind Your Power Consulting is my baby. She keeps me awake at night, and I refer her as she because she's me. She keeps me awake at night. Every time I sit, the whole idea is not having followers, but is to impact one life per day. Or whoever I reach must not be the same as I found them, and in a good way. So when you want to be in a position of leadership or be a CEO, there's certain things that you need to understand different people that you're going to be working with, but also be very business oriented. Understand the world of business, and I'm very fortunate to have been privy of both worlds. So yeah, exciting time.
It really is. And congratulations. So what are the hardest leadership lessons you've had to learn as a CEO? The boundaries that you have to set as well?
Saying no. Personally, last year, because I entered Mrs. SA, right? Last year I learned that no is not personal. And that is the greatest lesson that I would ever cherish in my life, because sometimes we look at no as a deal breaker. Sometimes no from that person to even say no, because they could have dragged you, right? Yeah. They could have winged you. And as a leader and as a CEO of my company, that no is not a bad thing. Is if you understood, or you took a mile in my shoes, you'd understand why I said no. So sometimes it's those things where some businesses you don't want to be affiliated with. I need to know my values. And that's the biggest thing that I'm taking with Mind Your Power, is I need to know my values. Not every dog that barks deserves my attention. And not every person that says, I want to work with you, actually has the same intention at heart. So those are the biggest lessons that I'm taking with, and I'm learning on a daily. Sometimes, yes, you're going to sit and be fixated on the objectives or the goals of reaching a certain financial goal. But truth of the matter, some of the people you keep in your life will have a reputation that they steal away from you later, because somebody else might not want to be associated with you because of that particular brand.
That is so true. And they say saying no is for you to keep your peace.
Yeah.
And just to keep that peace.
100%. It's the boundary that you have to always. There's also a saying that says, the people that hate you for creating boundaries are the people that have enjoyed a boundaryless life that you lived. So they say the takers don't have limits, but the givers always have to have limits.
That's so true. That's so true. How does your background in industrial psychology influence how you lead teams today?
So I lead with empathy. I lead with the end goal being me. I put myself in the next person's shoes. I look at the cleaner. I mean, in my wildest dreams, I've also been a cleaner in my dream, where I'm like, when we go past Go Mauling and you guys are busy trying to cross where I'm cleaning, I'll get pissed off. But I've also understood that sometimes people are in a hurry, and speed and execution also matters. So every time I do stuff, I put myself in the situation to say, would I have appreciated it like this? What would I have done differently? So that is why even with my interaction, I make sure that those things are ticked before. So hypothetically, if I deal with difficult human beings, I bring myself to their level. Then if I'm realizing that there is no amicable, or the energy is not reciprocated, I walk away. If not, I will give you your energy that you want, because somebody has to be adult about this. So that's how I lead.
Yeah, the adults of today.
We have to be adult.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But we'll get through it.
100%.
We honestly will. So, okay, just to go into the pageant world.
Okay.
How did you wake up one day and you're like, I want to enter Mrs. SA? Did you grow up, maybe at some point in your life, briefly, there was pageantry and you're like, I want to do that someday? Walk us through that journey, the thought of suddenly I'm here. So staging.
Don't take me back. So honestly, I didn't grow up in pageantry. I wasn't a pageant girl, I wasn't a candidate. And also with the standards of pageantry, I mean really, I was never less than a size. I was never a 9 to 10 at 9 to 10. I was never wearing a size 9 to 10 when I was 9 or 10. At that age, I was probably wearing 13 to 14 or 15 to 16, right? With that being said, I've always been chubby. I've always been that girl where there was a time I would wear a bikini, I would be given a short. There was always the nuances of shebile body, watch your body, watch yourself. You don't want to do this, you don't. And also my height, I'm not the tallest. I'm 1.55. I think I grew up, but I'm 1.55. So also that wasn't lucrative in my world as well. And I was into debate at school. So even if they did a Miss High School, Miss what, I was into debate. I was minding my own business. I was talking, as you can see. I do not run out of airtime. I am like, I always say, Kina, Wi-Fi, always on.
Why unlimited?
Always on. I understand who I am and I worked with that. At the age of 35, I thought I'm going to enter Mrs. SA as part of something that I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
35, not 40, not 39, not... And I don't know what happened, and I got distracted. Then I came back at the age of 36, 37, I fell pregnant and I had my child. And then when I was 38, I was having a conversation with Nzwaki, who is a mentor. And then in my conversation, and I was actually speaking to her about a talk that I wanted her to do for my live on Instagram. And then I said, oh, by the way, I think I'm going to enter Mrs. South Africa next year. And she said, go ahead. I didn't check that Nzwaki actually entered Mrs. SA. I was just putting it out there in the universe so that someone can hold me accountable, and she did. So she mentored me last year. So one of the reasons why I entered was just, I like advocacy. For me, it was just, let's speak about toxicity. Let's unpack it. Let's put it on national stages. Let's put it on bigger platform. Let's speak about it like it's not a shameful word. Because if you look at the youngsters now, not even them in particular, we sit with the nuances of a very difficult workplace pain. We saw it with our moms. And I say that with a very open heart. I didn't understand it then, but it makes sense now. My mom had a boss. Yes. I don't want to mention his name, but my mom had a boss, and everything and every day my mom came back from work. I work at this guy. And I could see the pain. You know, I could see the pain, because more than the fact that somebody is victimizing someone at work as their leader, it translates to us as the children. So Mrs. South Africa being a platform that looks after women, children, husbands, and staff, I thought, let's unpack this particular topic. Let me be the advocate for anti-toxicity. Also to make sure that people are aware that it doesn't end 8 to 5. When I get home, you speak about it. When you meet your friends that you went to varsity with that are living their lives and they are thriving, and then when are you coming with your depression from work, it steals away your sociable character. You find that when you're a bubbly person now, you can't, because it diminishes your confidence. So the reason why I entered was just to show people that let's return back to humanity. To more than anything. Let us not be goals. Let us not be objectives. But let's be human. You know, because when you're human, the next person can also meet you at your human level.
That's true.
So that's why, just to raise that awareness.
Oh, wow. And how is it being in a room full of so many women?
100.
100 women. Yo.
100.
And you just sat there saying, are they gonna pick me? Are they gonna choose me? What were you feeling?
So we went to Mainland for the first casting, right? And as usual, I was very sociable. I already made friends. I had a lot of my day ones, right, on the journey. I mean, it's a beautiful, I don't want to lie about that. Beautiful, the most amazing, smart women I've met as well from that same journey. So beautiful human beings. And then we sat there for, and they're calling people and they do their first session. So Mrs. South Africa took about 10 months, 14 days. It's a journey that I went on, and it was 10 months, 14 days to get to the final last day, right? In the first part, when we were sitting at casting, they called everyone that was sitting around me. And I'm very big on affirmation, but I'm very big on listening to God, right? Yeah. And in my mind, I was starting to say to God, it's okay. If they don't pick me, it's fine. Maybe get a border, but it's okay. And then I didn't even realize that they called my number. And I'm that person, when I'm zoned into my me space. Yeah. And then that is 66. And the girls, show me number. I'm like, they call me.
Are you sure it's me? They say 99, 66.
And I always have these delayed reactions. Because in my mind, I understand that if it's not it, then something else. And yesterday I was actually preaching about it, and I said, we must stop this thing of, if God didn't give you what you wanted, there's a notion that says he's going to bring better. No, God is just taking you to a different direction. That's it. And I read that from Sarah Jakes Roberts' book. that I'm reading now. And that analogy is sticking with me because I strongly believe that, okay, so it's not that you are bragging to the person to say, well, it didn't work out, someone better is lined up. But you're just saying, there is a different direction that God is taking me, and I'm grateful for that. Wow. So, yeah.
To be in that space was surreal, I'm sure, because you're like, God, you put me here.
With these amazing people that do different stuff. I mean, everything, from academic to people in like doctors, people that are in ministry. It's a lot, but then you realize it makes you humbled because you start to realize that, oh my word, I'm actually privileged to be around people that have such vast knowledge and also vast experiences. And for me, I stand by this. It wasn't a competition for me. It wasn't. It was a collaboration. Competition is so 2020. Yeah. When women come together and they show up as their authentic selves, we're not going to have rooms where people are screeching and scratching. You're going to genuinely have people that look at how do we best make this work. And that's what I love about some of the women I've gotten close to.
Oh, wow. And do you still go out on lunch dates with the women?
So last year was busy. We have our first, the Queen, Verushka has her birthday on the 21st of Jan. So we've got a weekend planned. So we do have good, strong friendships that have evolved post that. Lebu was with me yesterday. We were having lunch together at home. I've got there's so many of these beautiful girls, even the ones that stopped at semi-finalist stage. We are friends even now. It's just when we come for one cause, family, friends, health, you realize that, guys, we're going to do this. We speak quite often, which is most amazing. But yeah, man, you can even see, I'm not seeing myself, but it feels like my face lights up when I speak about strangers I met in 2025. And I said to them, I cannot afford to meet other strangers because I have actually grown fond of the people that I met. So yeah.
Just adding to your community, your village. You honestly need a village.
100%.
So being selected in the top 30, right, Miss SA, that's a huge achievement. Not many people can say that. What did that moment mean to you personally?
And again, I forgot the mark because I didn't think I'll be selected, to be truly honest, right? When I was selected, I was still holding hands at the back, laughing, and my name was called.
Yes.
There's a video that's going that shows how long it took me to get to stage. Because again, I didn't expect it. It didn't flop. And again, it wasn't a validating moment. It was just a moment that just said, now we move. Now the movement is moving. Because sometimes we know inside ourselves that we are good human beings and then we can move mountains and do greater stuff. Just take someone else to nudge it in us. And that for me it was, okay, so this is another couple of months for me to actually show who I am and for them to see who CZAR is out of that. So the making it to top 30 was great. It was an amazing experience. It pushed me beyond what I thought I could do, and I love that. I don't think there's anything that scares me anymore. I started saying to people, if you've died, you've died. And I believe that I died a long time ago, that I won't die again.
Yeah.
You know, there are hard things that you do in life that you believe, there's nothing worse that could happen post this.
That is true. Wow, you took us through such a beautiful journey from growing up to your industrial psychology career to actually who you are.
Yeah.
And then your career and family as well.
Yes.
As you said, husband, my
Mamela.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. But before we go, do you have any words of encouragement to the little girl watching, to the little boy watching as well? Do you have any words of encouragement in any way?
So I've got a foundation called Sons to Men Foundation that looks after the boy child. So I'll start instinctively. I'll start with my boys, right? Society must not dictate how a man should be in South Africa or how, as a man, you will grow up and become.
Yes.
It is their opportunity to stand up and show up as their true self, but be able to hone into the experience of other people. The lack of a male role model doesn't remove your ability to seek a role model. The lack of resources doesn't necessarily say you are not going to be the man that you think you deserve to be. Exposure changes a whole lot of things. So when you expose yourself to something, one day you start being it. When you believe as a male in South Africa, you are not going to be in there as statistic. You'd rather be counted as the males that are doing great, and so will you be. It says in the Bible, so a man thinks, so his works, right? And then for the girl child, be kind. This notion that girls are born smarter, that girls are quicker, it's not going to last for long. Because some of us are raising the most amazing boys. And I'm not saying that because I have one boy. No, I've got 2 girls and 1 boy. But I honestly strongly believe that as parents of mixed children, let's always be mindful of these small behaviors so that we can do better. My daughter knows that not to hit my son because I've taught him to hit back, unfortunately. And a lot of people frown upon that statement. But the truth is that not all the time do boys hit first. Sometimes girls pick up a patch.
Yeah.
And we don't expect them to take it in. Ha ke batle ngwana wa nku. No girl, no boy. But I don't want to be somewhere where somebody says my daughter traumatized their son because they're strong-willed.
Yeah.
And also the same goes with my son. I don't want to be called. I used to say before I had kids, I kept to be so meetings are stupid. But one chapter because I want to be in civil meetings. I want us to say, your child is not good for my child. Your child is slow for my child. My child is slow for your child. Let's make them separate because this concoction is not going to work. I want us to have those conversations, learned conversations where we are easily understanding what dynamics we're bringing here and when to say it's chai. So those small ones, all they just need to know is that the world doesn't revolve around this one and nor doesn't revolve around the other one. We all just need to learn how to exist. Be the best that you can be so that the next person can do their best. And I say often, if you were you, would you marry yourself? If you were you, would you befriend yourself? So if any of those answers are no, that's the time to change. Because if you will not tolerate the stuff that you expect somebody else to tolerate, this is a time to stop it.
And then just a little Bible verse that carries you through each and every day, through different phases of your life. Would you like to share?
Well, it was Philippians, but it keeps on changing. This particular time of the year, I found myself on Psalms 25. I've read Psalms 25 today, is day 15. It's 16, but I'm on day 15 because of my for religious reasons. But yesterday, the day before, there was one of the scriptures between Psalm 25 and Psalm 1 to 15, where the whole part is teach me your ways. Teach me your ways. Direct me. So when you ask God to teach you his ways, you are saying, no, my. So it makes me go. Even when I'm in a space where I feel like I'm defeated, his ways will always get me out of the pits. But I'm very big on song as well. There's a song that I always listen to. I think it's Naomi's song. It's The Story I'll Tell. So it talks about what you see now, the storms that God has carried me through, it's a story I'll tell of the testimonies of how God has carried me through 2025 to today.
Beautiful. And where can people find you? Instagram, as well as they want to collaborate with you.
Okay, so people can find me on Instagram. I think I'm going to be busy now with TikTok. I'm getting a whole lot of ideas on what I want to do for TikTok. Instagram, CZAR Motsuenyane. It's CZARMOTSUENYANE.
Yeah, the whole
100%.
Beautiful.
The reason why I keep creaming this way, it's because incorporate when you're telling someone your email. Firstly, the whole name is Sizakele, right? So I have to say Sizakele Motsuenyane. And I say, can you please spell that? So I had to have it recorded in my mind. SIZAKELE.MOTSUENYANE.
Wow.
All the time.
In
And you
one
could
brain.
say this is my surname. It's not even my surname. I inherited it. So they can reach me on there. But I also have a cell phone number for Mind Your Power that they can use. Is 073-882-6574. They can send me a WhatsApp of all their worries at work, and then we can unpack there. And then also for people that are in their careers and they just need coaching from toxic bosses or starting to navigate how leadership is in this way, they definitely can reach me on that number, as well as send me a WhatsApp, then we can book a session.
Thank you for coming, for us having this conversation, honoring the invite. It was lovely speaking to you, getting to know who you are in your journey. And to many more, may God continue to bless you with more. May He continue to put you in rooms that you didn't expect to be in, but you deserve to be in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that is it, guys.